If you're ready to explore the Hebrew roots of your Christian faith, then grab your Bible and let's get started. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome back to the Sabbath day, a day that Yehovah has made, giving us another opportunity to do the work of the kingdom. I'm always so thankful for that. Matter of fact, this morning, my morning prayer, I was just thinking and thanking him for all that he does. You know, there's a lot of things that the Father does without us even asking. But I really was thankful this morning for how he watched over me through the night, because we know there's a lot of things that can occur while you're sleeping. That's both naturally and spiritually. So I'm always thankful for his covering. I'm always thankful for another day that he has given me. So one thing that we do know, and which is I continue to experience sometimes, is I might not understand the things that he is doing. I might not understand why things are going this specific direction, but I know he knows. So I have to keep my confidence in him that everything that's going on in the direction that it is going, it is going to turn out for my good. Not only for my good, but for the good of the kingdom. I'm not of my own. I have accepted that I am not of my own, that I am a soldier, a ambassador of the kingdom of Elohim. I am a disciple of Yeshua. Yeshua is my master. He is the master. We have to meditate specifically on that part all by itself. Yeshua as your master. So this is how we know that we're following him, because he is the master, the author and finisher of your faith. And we're going to learn more about this as we continue to read Acts chapter 10. And of course, it may even cause you, as he been your master, go beyond your comfort zone. That is the difficulty of mankind. Welcome to Reconcile the Kingdom. We're working towards becoming a harmony of the whole word of truth. My name is Patrice Robinson. I'm thankful for all of you who's able to join me live and those who will be joining me on the replay. I want to take time out to thank all returning subscribers that I greatly appreciate your support. Thank you for making the comments. Thank you for sharing the link. Thank you for the thumbs up. As you know, this is the way that ministry grows because we're trying to reach the nations teaching biblical doctrine, not the dogma of men. That is so important because what we're going to learn to continue, I think we've been learning on this journey, how much dogma, traditions, teachings of man has been inserted into our spirits. Things are not even written in the Bible, but it's placed into our spirits, and we accept that as truth versus what is written. That is the challenge again of today's time. New subscribers, welcome to the family. Thank you for your support. Thank you for allowing me to be before you. Thank you for joining me on this journey because this journey is not just mine, it's yours too. It's your loved ones, it's your friends, it's your family. This is a lifetime journey that you share the link and ask them, come join us. Even if you don't agree, it's okay. Like I said, make those comments in the comment box. You can make them respectfully. We most definitely can have dialogue. So I thank you again. Don't be shy. Do the same things that we have spoken about the return subscribers. Just jump right on in. All visitors, thank you. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Even if you're not able to join me on the live premiere, but joining me on the replay. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I'm hoping that you're ready to join this family. This family that does not mind searching the scriptures. This family that does not mind challenging the religious system teachings that we have been under for hundreds of years. A family that's open to become a lifetime student of the Bible. A family that's ready to explore the Hebrews of your Christian faith. It is important that you understand that the we'll get to that as visitors. We'll get to that and help you understanding what the Hebrew says, especially if you just go through the foundational tools that we have on the channel for you to kind of understand what that means. I encourage you to do that. But it is really easy to join this family. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button below. And don't forget the bell because the bell lets you know when I'm live, any announcements, or any updates that's coming from this ministry. Just like we've spoken to the returning subscribers and the new subscribers, it's making the comments, share the link, and the thumbs up. This is how the ministry grows. This is an easy way to support the ministry. Follow me on Facebook. We know that we're trying to grow the followers on Facebook because I'm no longer live there because now you have to have 100 people to be live on Facebook. So I encourage you to go over there and follow there so we can be live. Now, Instagram, follow me there, Pinterest, Spotify, and a YouTube podcast for those who has those memberships. Now, we also have the SC Studio. The SC Studio is a biblical studio. In that studio, we have the workbooks that I use. So, like right today, we're in the book of Acts. We are most definitely working through the workbook of Acts. Now, this workbook of Acts has several pages, probably like, I don't know, about 40 pages. I probably need to know that next time. But you don't have to only purchase the workbook. If you are trying to be good stewards of your money, and you know that your family at this time cannot spend the money on the workbooks. I think the workbook probably $20. I don't remember, probably less than $20. You can purchase the worksheet. So there's two worksheets that you can get for $2. Just let you know that that's available to you. But I think I on the Etsy Studio, I took it down where you're not purchasing on the Sabbath day. So make sure you shop on the other days. So that's available for you. So again, I'm encouraging you to um, find ways to support the ministry. You can also give a love donation in the Cash App link. All of this is in the description box where you can find it easily. It's available for you, and you pray about what way that you want to support the ministry, because we do know the number one thing that we taught by Saul, and some people call him Paul or Shaul, is that you don't muzzle the ox, because I'm laying down and providing the bread of life to you. And so you give in return. So once again, find ways that you can support the ministry. It's all available for you in the description box. You can take a look at that at your own timing. Now, I want to make sure that you understand that at the end of the teaching, I will be addressing any questions that comes along during the teaching. You can send your questions then. While we live, I will address those questions. You don't have to send me an email. You don't have to uh, try to find me to ask questions or anything like that, or tell me that you supported me. I greatly appreciate those who go out their way to say that you supported me, but you can also put that in the description box. I encourage you to make comments. I encourage you to share the link throughout the teaching, especially your comments. Even like I said, even if you don't agree, I respond to those. And now I don't go through debating anything like that. I mean, no, I wouldn't do that. But I do address those. I like to hear from different perspectives, and so that we can come along together with the scriptures. So, right now, I'm hoping that you have a Bible in front of you, that you have all your writing utensils that you need. And for those of you who purchased the Acts workbook, thank you. Or the worksheet, thank you. If you don't have those items, please have a piece of paper in front of you, because you're going to take notes. You're going to jot down the scriptures that I'm using, and you're going to test what I'm sharing with you on today. So, what we're going to do first, let me get everything up together, is we're going to go through the overview of Acts chapter 9, which is what we completed last week. I'm going to bring my sheet up. So we're going to go through the key points and the notes and everything that we have for Acts chapter 9. Because Acts chapter 9, I have my dates up there. We went through 3 weeks of study. And most definitely, I greatly appreciate every last one of you who does not mind me taking my time through the scriptures, because it is the small things that we miss, and it's the details that we miss. I don't know about you. I've said this before. When I was in denominations and non-denominational religious systems, we did not go from verse by verse by each writing, each letter, or each book, however you may want to say it. We did studies according to specific topics. But one thing about going through studies with specific topics without having a foundation to understanding the letters or anything like that, you can quickly get a misinterpretation and taking something out of one passage to another that does not belong in a specific topic. This is why the foundation is very, very important. So, Acts chapter 9 sheet is what you see. Saul. We was introduced to Saul because he was on a mission to destroy the followers of the way. He received letters from the synagogue signed by the chief high priest to go after the followers of the way to Damascus. He was blinded by the teachings of his denomination system of that time and went after anyone that was a follower of the way, because the followers of the way follow the master. A voice came to him, and he understood as it is as Yeshua, the master, because he was coming after his bride. Again, we see that Paul was blinded in Acts chapter 9, and Ananias was sent to Saul to make sure that his eyes are open. His eyes was open, he was baptized, he was filled with the Holy Spirit. The scales was removed, and he left to Aruba. Then he returned to Damascus. Then 3 years later, he went to Jerusalem. Now, the only way that we was able to gather this path, this journey that Saul was taking once his eyes were open and the scales were removed, is because we went into the book of Galatians. So this is why you have to have the whole truth and understanding of the ministry. So we ended Acts chapter 9 with Peter's ministry, and it continues from the Gospels to Acts and to the city of Lydda and Joppa, where he raised Tabitha from the dead, and Ananias he actually healed, who was paralyzed for 8 years. So I'm going to bring you to my application insight. And I wanted to make sure that we understand where Peter is and what's going on, because we're going into chapter 10. But the disciples who were following of the way, who was following the Messiah, you need to understand that these were Jewish people. Even the people that was among them were proselytes. Proselytes for the Jewish faith, which we call Judaism today. So there's different branches of Judaism today. There's different branches of Pharisees in that time, and there was other groups of that time with Peter and Saul and the rest of them. So it's important to understand this. And not only that, let's get to the question. What could we learn about forgiveness from the assembly when they accepted Saul? Because that was a great level of forgiveness for what Saul was doing. And forgiveness has been clearly played out throughout the entire Bible. And that is like the most difficult thing, as I was speaking to someone last night, for human beings to do. It's easy to hold something against someone than it is to forgive. Many people have that struggle. So that I didn't have any word study, my cross reference is there for the scriptures that we use for Acts chapter 9. I will leave my sheet up for a moment to give you opportunity to ask questions, make comments, or anything that you have regarding the overview of the key points from Acts chapter 9. So last week with Acts chapter 9, at the ending of verse 32 to 43, when we go into Peter's ministry, we also included Acts chapter 10, verses 1 through 8. The sole purpose I put those two together is because now we know where Peter is in Joppa. So over here, we have something going on in a different place where Cornelius is, and they're going to meet together. So I'm going to actually read Acts chapter 10, verses 1 through 8 in the beginning here as we get ready to continue with Acts chapter 10 on today. We're not going to be able to finish it today, so I'm just going to let you know ahead of time. Verse 1. Now there was a man in Caesarea named Cornelius, a centurion of what was called the Italian cohort. He was of the other nation. He was of the Italian nation. He was a devout man and one who feared Elohim with all his household. So not only did he fear Elohim, so did his household, and made many charitable contributions to Jewish people and prayed to Elohim continually. He didn't pray to the other gods. He prayed to Elohim. About the ninth hour, which is the third 3 o'clock of the day, he clearly saw in a vision an angel Elohim who had just come in and said to him, Cornelius. And he looked at him intently and became terrified and said, What is it, Lord? And he said to him, Your prayers and your charitable gifts have ascended as a memorial offering before Elohim. Now dispatch some men to Joppa and send for a man named Simon, who is also called Peter. He is staying with a tanner named Simon, whose house is by the sea. When the angel who spoke to him left, he summoned two of his servants and devout soldier from his personal attendants. And after he had explained everything to them, he sent them to Joppa. So again, we're in Acts chapter 10, and we are talking about Cornelius. This is most definitely um, a different way of looking at Acts chapter 10 that we're going to go forth with. So, Acts chapter 10, verse number 9, and I'm going to bring up my, take this down. I want to give everyone a visual look of things as we are going to Acts chapter 10. I'm going to continue. On the next day, this is the next day after Cornelius sent the two men. As they were on their way and approaching the city, Peter went up on the housetop about the 6 hours. So this is about noon to pray. But he became hungry and wanted to eat. But while they were making preparation, he fell into a trance. And he saw the sky open up and an object like a great sheet coming down. This is a sheet that's coming down, lowered by four corners to the ground. 12, verse 12, and on it were all kinds of four-footed animals and crawling creatures of the earth and birds of the sky. A voice came to him, Get up, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, By no means, Lord. Lord means master, for I have never eaten anything unholy and unclean. Again, a voice came to him a second time. What Elohim has cleansed, no longer consider unholy. This happened 3 times, and immediately the object was taken up into the sky. So Peter is he's in this trance. As later in the verses we will find out this is a vision. So those of you who have the foundation of the Tanakh, I'm pretty sure you thought about Ezekiel chapter 14, where Yehovah tells Ezekiel to eat these specific animals and things like that. And Ezekiel's like, no, Yehovah, I won't eat these animals because I won't eat anything unclean, torn, or die of itself. Those are the 3 regulations in the Tanakh for Jehovah's people to follow. Those are instructions, specific instructions from the Father, because just because something is an animal, it is not to be considered as food for you to consume. Just because it's an animal, that does not mean you are to consume it to be food. As a person who came from denominations and non-denominational religious systems, when we read about Peter's vision, 9 times out of 10, many people will say, we can eat anything we want to eat. There's some that will say, well, I don't really think that means that we can eat what we want to eat, but I don't exactly know what that means. So we're going to continue in chapter 10. Like I said, we're not going to finish today, but we're going to tell you what it exactly means because Peter interprets it himself. Once again, this is the next day that Peter is on his housetop from when Cornelius was sending his men by the instructions of the messenger, the angel, to go to Joppa to get Peter. Keep in mind that Cornelius and the men that he's sending to Peter are all considered to be Gentiles in that time. Men of other nations. They're not of the 12 tribes of Israel. They are not proselytes. While these men are from other nations or on their way, Peter is on the roof of Simon Tanner's, the Tanner house in Joppa, doing the 6th hour, which is at noon. Peter's hungry and he falls into this trance. This sheet falls down. He see all these four-footed animals and crawling creatures of the earth, birds of the sky. The voice comes and tell him 3 times, go and eat. But Peter is not confused who's speaking to him. Peter knows exactly who is speaking to him because he called him master. The master is telling Peter what Elohim has cleansed, no longer considered unholy. Again, this mindset, the Greek mindset, we go straight to the food because we consider all animals as consumption for food. That's that mindset. Peter, on the other hand, and all the followers of the way continue with the instructions of Yehovah that's given to Moses for the people. The master that he is speaking with, Yeshua, taught him how to follow the instructions. He knows the instructions because Yeshua taught him how to follow the instructions. And Peter knows from that time on not to follow any teaching of men. And he was even ready to reject what the master is teaching him or telling him because it doesn't align with Jehovah's instructions. So this is the reason Deuteronomy 13 also can be helpful at this time because he tells you what to watch out for and to follow, who not to follow. So Peter understands what the instruction says, and he is challenging the master. No, this is not. This is not right. We can't do this. So Peter may be thinking in some way that he has been tested. He has been tested. Why would Peter consider this? Now, what could be unclean and unholy as animals? All things are created by the Father, Yehovah, through Yeshua. What animals can be considered unclean and unholy and not created for human consumption? Now, I'm going to encourage you to go to Leviticus chapter 11 on your own. I'm going to encourage you to do that on your own because I'm not going to go through that entire chapter. Matter of fact, I think in the study of how did I miss Peter's vision, I think I went deeper into Leviticus chapter 11 to get that understanding. So I'm not going to go through that today, but I am going to share just a few of unclean animals that are not considered to be consumption food for humans. Camels, swine, which is our pigs, our rock badgers, hares, eagles, vultures, moles, mice, geckos, lizards, crocodiles. That's just a few of the animals that are considered unclean and no holy, and not food for consumption. All animals have its place in the animal kingdom, but not all animals we should be hunting down and consuming as food. Now, Peter is having this vision. So let's continue on. Verse 17. While Peter was greatly perplexed, I would be perplexed too, in his mind as to what this vision which he had seen might mean. Behold, the men who have been sent by Cornelius have asked direction to Simon's house, and they appeared at the gate. So Peter is trolling in his mind, trying to figure out what in the world could this mean. Now we do have non-denominational religious system who already believe they know what this means without continuing to read to figure out what Peter understood for it to mean. Verse 18, and calling out, they were asking whether Simon, who was also called Peter, was staying there. While Peter was reflecting in this vision, what happens? The Spirit said to him, behold, 3 men are looking for you. But get up, go downstairs, and accompany them without misgivings. There's a reason why he said without misgivings, for I have sent him myself. Peter went down to the men and said, behold, I am the one you're looking for. What is the reason for which you have come? They said, Cornelius, a centurion, a righteous, Elohim-fearing man, God-fearing man, was well spoken by the entire nation of the Jews, was divinely directed by a holy angel to send for you to come to his house and hear a message from you. So he invited them in and gave them lodging. Without misgivings, he gave them lodging. After this vision, after this trance that Peter was experiencing, it is just the Spirit tells him, give him specific instructions that there's 3 men that are looking for you. Now, I don't know about you. I most definitely have experienced specific instructions from the Spirit. I will never forget, and it's happened many times, but it's just when you receive those specific instructions, I mean, it is so piercing to your heart. Now, Peter is perplexed because this might mean something. Seeing the sheep come down with all these unclean, unholy animals has to mean something. The master is getting Peter, prepared for the next step in his ministry, because we know Yeshua gave them instructions. He gave the soldiers specific marching orders that you should go and be a witness to Jerusalem, to Judea, to Samaria, and as far as the uttermost part of the earth. So far, we do know that Peter has gone to Jerusalem because there was a lot of issues when he was going to the temple and pray, and the Holy Ghost fell on 3,000 men. I mean, it was just amazing. And then he was healing, and all these things were going to Jerusalem. They was instructed by the Pharisees and the Sadducees, don't speak in this man's Yeshua's name again. So we know what was going on in Jerusalem for Peter. We know that he also went to Samaria, because that's where Philip went. And and we found Simon, who was a sorcerer. So that's where Philip went. And then Peter and John went to Samaria and laid hands for people to fill with the Holy Spirit. So we know the master is now taking him to the next step into his ministry. Because not only is Cornelius going to learn something, Peter is going to learn something. Spirit tells him to go with them because I sent them. Peter responds. He followed the instructions, and he was told by these men that Cornelius is a Satirian and righteous and God fearing, Elohim fearing man. So think about this. These men say that he's righteous and God fearing. Cornelius knows about the Father. We don't know who ministered to Cornelius, how this happened. We just know it happened. The scriptures did not give us any information about that. But Peter and the others at this point from the Gospels on has never heard of a person from the other nation who becomes God fearing, respect, reverence Elohim without first becoming a proselyte. Cornelius is not a proselyte. His household are not proselytes. I'm hoping you understand what proselyte means. Maybe the visitors does not know what a proselyte means. And I'm encouraging you to look that up in your Strong's Concordance and follow, if you miss, all the way to the beginning of Acts, because we lay this foundation to understand what a proselyte is. You're going to need to know what this means as we continue on. So catch up with us. This is the moment that you hit that subscribe button. This is the moment that you begin to study and bring out everything you need so you can understand the word as is written. So that is what's piercing into your heart and not following the dogma of man. Again, Cornelius' prayers and gifts to the poor have ascended as a memorial offering before Elohim. As we know, those who study Revelation, those who study the Tanakh, Ezekiel and other places and Exodus, that this altar of incense is in heaven. The prayers of the righteous goes up to the Father as sweet aroma. So we have Cornelius, whose heart is open, who received the instructions of Yehovah, prays to him continually, is going up. Those prayers are going up to heaven as a sweet aroma, as a memorial offering. This is from someone who's not a proselyte. We also get just a little bit more information about this, what the angel spoke into Cornelius about, and that's only because this messenger, this angel came. Right, once again, this is divinely ordered from heaven that Cornelius and his household needs to hear a specific message from Peter. There's a specific message that he needs to hear that only is going to come from Peter. This message that Cornelius needs to hear, his heart is open and ready for it because he is already devoting himself. He's already praying to Yehovah. He's already serving the poor. However, he's missing something on his journey. He's missing something that many people are missing today. People are missing today because the truth of the word is missing among many people who consider themselves as believers, as the followers of the Messiah. I'm very careful to using that word Christ, and eventually we will get to understanding where that came from. I'm also very careful using the word church. You're going to need to understand where that word came from also. So we're going to continue with Acts chapter 10 on next Sabbath day. I want to also let you know, while we're live, is that we do know that the feasts are coming up. So we're looking for an estimate according to the new moon options. That's when we will really find out about the end of September the 4th, or the sunset of September the 5th. So we need to get ready for these feasts that are coming up. And we talked about getting prepared for the feast, and that's the whole reason that I have the Instagram. That's what it's mainly about. So let's get ready for the Feast of Trumpets. Let's get ready for the Day of Atonement. Let's get ready for the Feast of Tabernacle and the 8th day. These are the feasts that are coming up soon, and that's the 7th biblical month that we're looking forward to seeing. Now, I don't see any questions or anything that I need to address now, but you are welcome to send them during the replay, and I will address them in. I hope you enjoyed the biblical content on today. So don't leave out of here without hitting that subscribe button and the bell. Give me a thumbs up. Share the link with your friends, your family, your loved ones. It's important that we get the biblical truth out. Join me on Tuesday because we are still in Exodus. We're on Exodus chapter 28. And we're studying or going through the tabernacle. It's very important to understand all of that and what that means. Just laying some foundation so that you can take your studies farther on your own. So we will continue Acts chapter 10 next week. May Yehovah bless you and keep you. May Yehovah shine his face on you and give you his favor. May he shine his face towards you and give you his peace. All in the mighty name of Yeshua. Once again, I appreciate every last one of you, and I will see you on Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m.